welcome back to the channel, folks, and to another battle report, another face-to-face game. Peter is coming out with his 21st Panzer Division. Now, you might know what that is, but it's basically a unit that served in Normandy, a German unit, that used French captured vehicles as a basis for all its self-propelled guns, artillery, anti-tank weapons, multiple mortar launchers, and all kind of things. So it's a really interesting list. It's one that Peter likes because of its historical context, its unique nature. There was only one division of its type in the war, and that's why he plays it, even though it's quite tricky and difficult to play because it's not got the best integral armour options. But Peter wants to use it because he likes the history, and that's as good a reason to play a list as any. And because it's Flames of War, you know, there's always balances in there that will give you the chance to win with so many different kinds of list guys. But my allied options being such as they are, the 21st Panzer Division has had to make its way all the way over to the Eastern Front to get a game today. So I'll be using my Soviets.
Okay, I've got a 21st Panzer Division Panzer Grenadier Force in my formation. I've split it into what's in the box is what's going to be on the table, and what's on the table is going to be in reserves. What I've got is two Panzer Grenadier platoons. One is a reconnaissance platoon, so I've got 7 half-tracks. I've got 4 machine guns, but I'm using machine gun nests for them. I've got my mortar section. We've got 4 multiple mortar sections. I've got 4 tank hunter platoon there, in the 7.5 centimetre guns on them.
PAK 40s.
PAK 40s on them. So that's all my formation and support. I've got 4 8.8 centimetre anti-tank guns and 3 Hotchkiss 7.5. Again, they've got a PAK 40 basically. I have my 88s are going to be in PAK front. We've got a PAK front card for them, and I've brought Von Luck with me. He's quite expensive. He's 5 points, but we'll see how he goes.
And then this is a reconnaissance Panzer Grenadier platoon,
yes.
So lots and lots of half-tracks and MGs.
Yep.
So this is the 21st Panzer Division on the Eastern Front.
Yes, they moved.
But you know, it's still going to be an interesting game, folks, and we'll see what a PAK front of 88s backed up by lots and lots of anti-tank 12 can do to my heavy Soviets. So here is my force, folks. It's got 2 formations. First of all, a hero shock rifle. I think that's the right phrase. And it's got 3 units plus a company command. It's got the hero shock rifle, 13 bases for 11 points. And then it's got a storm group. This is the version that's got the 7 bases of submachine guns, 3 heavy mortars, and that's the infantry formation. So it's 2 big and strong infantry units. I mean, these guys are careful, they're veteran, fearless, so they can be quite hard to kill. Catch them in the open though, and they're just like anyone else. They'll get clobbered, but fairly strong formation. And then backing them up, a heavy assault gun formation, company command being an IS-2, platoon of 4 ISU 122s, 3 ISU 152s, and then in a way to help out with their formation, because it's only 3 units there, I've got a platoon of 7 hero submachine guns. Now, having an extra infantry unit might help, might mean that not all my infantry can get pinned down, but it'll also help if, for instance, I lose, let's say, them and the command. I don't want to end up losing the whole platoon, for instance, if I issue 1-2-2s or any such combination. So they'll help keep it on the table, as well as give me another platoon of infantry that could be useful in assault. And then we've also got, as a bit of backup, 4 122mm artillery with an armoured car observer. These guys cost the same points as a 76mm battery. The save isn't as good, I think, on these compared to 76mm, but they cost the same points. But these guys are anti-tank 3 in bombardment firepower. 2, possibly 2 or 3, maybe 3. I think they're 3. But that's good. That's better than a 76mm, which is anti-tank 2, firepower 2. And of course, these heavy mortars are also firepower 3, which is very handy for digging things out. So there you go, folks. Quite a tough, if not large, Soviet formation. The ISU-152 is a heavy Soviet assault gun. It is aggressive, so hit on a 3+. It is a motivation of confidence, so that's a 4+, though it's 5+ in counter-attack and better in last stand of 3+. Skill level is trained, so it passes checks on a 4+ unless it's in assault, which is a 5+. Its movement's not too bad at all, with a tactical of 10 inches and a cross-country dash of 18. The gun can fire in bombardment with a range of 64 inches, anti-tank 3, firepower 2, or in direct fire a range of just 20 inches, rate of fire 1, anti-tank 13, auto firepower with the brutal forward firing and slow firing rules. So this tank is very heavily armoured, but its short range in direct fire means you have to close to within 20 inches before you can get any effective shots put in. The Storm Group is a black box choice for the Soviet Hero Shock Rifle Battalion Company. It's very different from other Soviet units. First of all, it's careful, so hitting a 4+. They're fearless, they don't have a commissar to gain that, and they're also veteran, so pass skill checks on a 3+ and assault on a 2+, which is a very good unit to have. Now, the makeup of the unit is very different too. They can have 6 or 7 submachine guns, but then also an anti-tank rifle team, a maximum heavy machine gun team, and an 82mm mortar machine, and the option of adding in a flamethrower or a further heavy machine gun team. So they're a unit that can be applied to a great number of tasks and stand a chance of getting into contact with the enemy without being killed. The S-307 is a captured French Samoa half-track used by or converted by the Germans to carry a PAK-40. It is rated as careful, confident, veteran, but it doesn't fare so well with its assault counter-attack rating at 6 and with its hitting in assault as well, which is only 4 because it's open-topped and is basically an anti-tank weapon, not a close support weapon. So it's not got very good armour, but it does have all of the advantages that German tanks normally have, like Stormtrooper rule, so it can get itself in and out of firing positions where its weak armour isn't so important, and it's still going to be hard to hit, however strong the anti-tank that's coming against it. So be careful how you use it, and its anti-tank 12 can do a lot of damage against, certainly against medium and sometimes heavier armour. The Rheinwerfer is a multiple mortar system based on a captured French half-track. It's not a very common weapon, found only really in the 21st Panzer Division listings. It's got a salvo template, so it can cover a large area, just like a Nebelwerfer. However, its anti-tank rating is not as strong as a Nebelwerfer. It's just 1, which is the same as a mortar. Likewise, it's not got the range of a Nebelwerfer, it's just got a 40-inch range because, once again, it really is just lots of mortars put together. However, it is an effective and cheap way of getting a large salvo template for your for artillery support for the 21st Panzer Division forces. Peter chose defend and I chose attack, and considering the lists, that seems to be a fairly sensible choice, because Peter's armour is pretty much just mobile anti-tank weapons, and we rolled the missions at random and got no retreat. Now it's a nice simple mission in terms of deployment zones. You can see the attacker, well, first of all, the defender will choose. The attacker's got a decent sized deployment zone to attack from, and the defender's got quite a large zone to defend, with both players placing one objective into the grey area amidst the blue of the defender's deployment zone. Then we've got special rules of ambush, deep immediate reserves and minefields. And we've also got, as well as minefields, we've got pre-ranged in markers for the artillery. Now, this is a straightforward victory condition kind of game as well. The attacker can win at any turn, and the defender can win from the end of their 6th turn onwards, where there is no enemy within 8 inches of the objectives. So there you go, a fairly straightforward kind of mission that will suit Peter's list, especially when you consider what his pack front heavy machine gun nests can do to the kind of list that I've brought. Right folks, we're ready to go, so it's no retreat. It's a very simple, straightforward deployment zone. You've got, well, Peter chose this end to defend. He likes the high ground, which makes sense because it reduces protection, or concealment, from low terrain when he's shooting my tanks, or even my infantry with his nests. So he can deploy up to here, and the objectives are going in this box here. Now, Peter put one objective down here, and I put one here. And then, Peter, if you just want to show us where you put your nests, because this is, I think, a critical part.
I've got pack nests. I've got one here, one up here, one here, and one over here. And then I've got HMG nests, one here, one up here, and one here.
And then you've got
what else I've got on the table? I've got minefields hopefully covering the objective, the front objective here. I've got some mortars hiding behind the church and the hill. And
they use the salvo template, the mortars.
Yes. I've got, my HQ is in the touch tower. And I've got my one Panzer Grenadier platoon is in ambush.
To avoid all these pre-ranged in markers, as you can see, I've got everything just in and around here, in and around this ambush and this hedge that could be a good position to support the objective. And Peter's got one here as well. But I think they'll all be lifting when the game starts. So, I've got, I'll just do from one side to the other. So, submachine guns with observer. Zoom in a bit. Then I've got my 122 ISU 122s. I've got company command IS2, then the 152s, and then I've got my storm group with the mortar being here, the anti-tank rifle, and then the infantry over to here with the heavy machine gun at the end of the line. Company command's in part of that building. It's just in the deployment area. Second command behind it, and I've got mortars, my shock rifle unit, and my 122s. And that's it folks. I'm not sure how to deal with flak 88 nests. We'll see what happens when the game gets underway, so we'll tidy up and come back when all this is cleared away and show you my turn one. Okay, turn one, and it's the Soviets going first. In terms of movement, over there, the submachine gunners run up, getting behind the house as much as possible. The observer moved over to there. They stayed put. The mortar stayed put. Everything else from his platoon moved up to here. That was the storm group. The shock rifles moved up with a follow me. And these guys obviously staying put. Company command staying put. All staying put. I want to try and do some barrages to try and thin down the nests a bit. And in terms of everything ranged in apart from the 152s, the hardest hitting things, over here, mortars and 122 artillery ranged in. Both nests took hits, but saved. The ISU 122 is ranged in up here, and there was a failed save, but even just needing a 3 up firepower, I rolled a 3 then a 2, so it's still alive. The company command also took a hit, but he's okay. And that's it for me for shooting just now, folks. Not much movement from my armour yet, because those nests will definitely wear me down very, very quick, so I'll try and wear them down first.
Okay, motivations. I managed to unpin everything that was pinned from last turn. I decided to bring on my ambush, my Panzer Grenadiers, because I thought if I left it any longer I'd be limited to where I could put them. So that I put them protecting this objective. I got one reserve on, so I brought on my anti-tank guns.
They've just got a weird name.
Weird names, yes, so I'll just call them anti-tank half-tracks. So they're just going on here, and they're hiding from anything Frank's got. Shooting, I shot with my PAK fronts here. I don't think I killed anything. Nothing here. These are two. Again,
That got a hit on mortars, but I made my save.
Yes,
it was out of range.
I got hit here on the infantry there, so I managed to kill one.
Conveniently failed my save.
Over here, I think the HMGs managed to kill one.
Yeah, they failed 4. I think they got about 6 hits and failed 4 of the saves.
And that was me.
The most maybe important thing that didn't happen.
Yes, I tried to range in. I tried to range in on Frank's infantry there.
It would have been about
but failed.
Here.
But failed.
That would only been enough to catch maybe the front 3 bases of the storm group, but then I would have to move into that, and it's like a big massive template. So I've got 1 turn of grace before they do range in on me. Soviet turn 2. Only motivation there, I think, guys, was them. They unpinned, sorry, tried to dig in but didn't, but they're not going anywhere. These guys, the storm group, have moved up into the woods with a heavy machine gun looking out towards the nests. The ordinary shot rifles just moving up. So that really just leaves firing. So, let me think now. The mortars, well, I can't remember, the mortars and the 122s already ranged in here did nothing. But the 152s did manage to range in, but once again didn't do anything. It got some hits, but that was it. The ISU 122s were already ranged in. They killed the company commander, and once again that failed to save, but I failed my firepower, my reroll firepowers, unfortunately. The heavy machine gun also had a cheeky wee shot down here at that and got a couple of hits but made it saves. That's it for me just now, folks. I really want to try and thin these guys out before I start moving up my big guns, because even at long range I need to get a 4, 5 or a 6 to be safe. So it's got a 50-50 chance of killing or bailing me. I don't have that many tanks, so I need to thin them down and my infantry do some work in the meantime.
Okay, I managed to unpin everything apart from this 88 and this HMG nest, so that was good. I tried to, my second in command was down here. I tried to blitz him into the steeple, but failed. So he moved there, he's there now. Just moved up my anti-tank half-tracks to there. Because I don't have an observer for that turn, I've just moved one of the mortars up here to observe if this guy gets killed. Shooting, quite successful shooting. So I think who killed what. I think this gun here managed to pick off an infantry platoon there. This HMG managed to get
anti-tank rifle.
Anti-tank rifle in the control box. What else did I kill? Yes, he managed to kill one infantry over there.
And then you had heavy machine gun
Yes,
into the woods as well.
So I'm actually pick off another. So picking them off.
That was mental. To give you an idea, guys, my infantry took, I think they took 7 hits, and you can see there's 4 dead bases there. So that shows you I failed 4 saving throws out of 7, and in the previous turn I was failing saving throws as well. So I'm going through infantry far too quick. It's not looking good. Soviet turn 3, so everything that needed to unpin did. I think it might have just been them. I tried to dig them in. Being veteran, they failed, obviously. These guys here did dig in. And everything stayed put. I've got to try and thin out. If I run over here, these guys and the machine guns and everything will just slaughter me, so I've still got to take my time. I actually managed to kill something this time, believe it or not. I think it might have been the... Oh, I can't remember. Either the mortars or the 122's got the 88. The 152's got the gun. Over here, I managed to get to firepower. No, I managed to get a few hits, 2 hits. One here, but the saves were made even with rerolls. And the wee mortar, managed to range in, has to re-range in every turn. Oh, they did move. Never mind, I don't think I've got any. I can't remember if I've got any hits, but if the guys don't move, he gets to stay ranged in, so I've got to remember that for next turn, right? If I don't move them. And one ISU 122s, as I said, got a couple of hits, but no failed saves. Those guys over there are staying put again. Okay, so I managed to unpin everything apart from my commander up in the steeples. He's pinned. My reserves, I get 2 reserves with the help of Von Luck. So I brought on some more anti-tank guns and my scout, my Clarings or whatever they call it.
Yeah. So they're on. That was all my movement. Shooting, I wasn't particularly successful at. I don't think. Managed to range in here with my mortars, but didn't kill anything.
You got, let me see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential bases under there needing a 4 or a 3, and you got 1, which is unusual.
Yes, I've wasted all my
But
6s.
they're pinned, and these are now sitting underneath that huge template.
Yes, okay. So I didn't manage to kill anything with any other shooting.
Soviet turn 4, and the turns are ticking by, and there's not much happening, folks. The pinned unit unpinned, and they've kind of moved up around that big massive template. They just dug in. There's nowhere for them to go anyway. So they're moving up and around. These guys have dashed up, tried to follow me and failed, obviously. Because, to be honest, I only made, I think, 2 or 3 dice above a 2 that whole turn. The mortars failed to range in. They got 2 2s and a 1, I think. The 122s ranged in, but never got any hits. Nothing above 4 chances to hit, and 4 1s and 2s. And then the 122s that are still ranged in, managed to get a hit, I think, but there was a save thing on the gun. But no, I failed with firepower again. The failed reroll looking for a 3+. And then the wee mortar managed to clobber again. I can't remember I actually got anything, but not killing anything, guys. So, Peter, your turn 4.
Okay, so that turn, everything unpinned apart from this 88. I managed to get my last reserve on, which was Von Luck himself, so he's come on at the pitch. Movement, I tried to move my anti-tank guns through the wood. 3 of them passed, 1 failed, and then the other ones I've just moved round a bit from the wood. I've moved my half tracks up to try and get into the action, and that was all my movement. Shooting on this side of the table wasn't very successful, but over here a combination of machine gun nests, PAK nest, and my anti-tank guns, I managed to kill 4 and then three from there, and then one other one was killed by a bombardment.
Mortars have ranged in here, and it's a big massive template, remember folks, so it extends
from the mortars
in the direction where I'm heading. Soviet Ton 5, so these guys unpinned, and then they're moving up. They're going to die, but they've got to keep moving up. They're staying put, they're dug in, they're safe enough. These guys have moved up, tried to follow me again, second turn in a row, with the company command re-rolling, they've not made it. And then in terms of shooting, I basically hit a couple of things and they made the saves. That's it, guys. I can't get above a 1 or a 2 for the vast majority of this game, so it's getting very close to either a miracle or a win for Peter. Let's see what happens.
Okay, that turn managed to unpin everything apart from my company commander sitting in the steeple. Movement, I managed to move another anti-tank gun through the woods to here. These just shuffled up a wee bit. These half tracks moving across to get into the action. That was all my movement. Again, this side of the board, shooting wasn't very successful. Over here, a combination of HMG nest, these anti-tank guns, shooting at this infantry platoon. Oh no, sorry, they shot at the tanks, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So it was HMGs. What else was shooting at there?
The HMGs, the infantry and the mortars.
Yes.
The mortars killed 2, I think.
Yeah.
The HMGs killed maybe 1, and then they killed maybe 2.
Yeah.
But they were always going to get a hiding, to be honest. They just
Yeah.
got to suicide up the table.
Okay. And that was...
Your 88s managed to get 2 bales.
Yeah.
And then they managed to get a kill.
Yeah.
So turn 6, critical turn 6 for the attacker. In terms of motivation, didn't get back in even with a reroll for the company command. The infantry coming up here did unpin, and they moved up the flank. He moved up, as did they, to get into, in the first instance, 8 inches of that, and then any possibility of an assault. They did terrible in the shooting, and only just managed to pin the Germans on the way up, killed 1 base, managed to get a pin. And in terms of shooting, I actually managed to kill a gun, unbelievable. The ISU 122s for another turn, that's 5 turns in a row they've failed firepower. Just needing 3 ups, even with a reroll, that's reasonable to expect them to be able to kill something. And they've not killed anything except the company command. And he wasn't on a reroll. So there's 188 there. So everything's ranged in there that can range in, but do nothing. Then over here, this went a bit wonky. I went in for the assault on the flag, so there was little in the way of counter fire, and I survived the 3 hits I got, and then killed the first. Now Peter's looking at his cross-checker 3+, thinking, do I counter attack or do I get out? And he thought, I'll get out. I rolled a 2, a 1 and a 2, I think it was something mad like that. So they all went. So that was lucky for me, but I have nothing left to win the game with. But they've captured them anyway and gone into cover and bulletproof cover there. This guy moved into the wood and managed to, I think he actually might have got 2 bases. He managed to stay in, there was quite a few rounds back and forward, took 1 hit from a Faust and saved, and then the Germans had to break off and he stayed put. They're in a position to get shot to bits now, unfortunately, because I was thinking they were going to have to assault. They might have been able to do so with reduced counterfire had that killed the base and broke off. As it is, they've got lots of heavy machine gun bunkers staring at them now. So at least I'm still in the game. I'm still within 8. Peter's now got to come and drive me away to win the game, because that's hiding from nasty 88s.
Okay, that turn I managed to unpin everything apart from the chap in the church.
He's
again.
never unpinned, but he's unpinning everybody else, that's the main thing.
He's re-rolling but still not unpinning. Movement, I managed to blitz these guys out over here to try and get shots at that tank. My half-tracks moved up to try and get some shots on the infantry over there. And that was all my movement. Shooting. I managed to kill, I think, one guy with the machine guns from the half tracks. These anti-tank guns failed to do.
I got 3 hits and I rolled a 4 and 2 2s.
Yes.
I was like, for goodness sake. 2 chances to bail.
But I failed my power.
Yeah, I got 2 1s.
This chap failed to hit over here. And this guy, who killed that?
That was just an MG.
An MG machine gun.
They got shot at by the bunkers, by that guy and by him, but it was an ordinary bunker, I think they got.
So, and then the mortars managed to range in here and kill, was it two teams from that platoon. And then at the end of the shooting, this platoon managed to do a shoot and scoot to scoot behind it.
If you were going back to your original position,
was it that?
Yeah, because otherwise you're in line of sight of me.
Thank you very much.
Soviet turn 7, the infantry unpinned and then ran away, even with the company commander near them. They'd lost the commissar already, so they weren't fearless anymore. This guy got back in, so they've just tactically moved up. He moved just so he's out of line of sight of the Marders. The Marders will have to be more adventurous to come get him. And then these guys are just staying dug in, gone to ground, as are those guys over there. And then in terms of shooting, fucking hell man, at long last, that died. I don't even know what killed it, I just know it's dead. So that at least gives my, well, it means my ISU 152s can die to anti-tank 12 instead of anti-tank 14. And that got bailed out as well in the bombardment. He survived, it survived. These, they only got a 20-inch direct fire range. Had a couple of goals at him, they'd been on the move, and him being in cover, a slow fire weapon, you know, they missed. And that was it really for shooting. I killed one thing, but it was an important thing. And I've brought these up to support the company command.
Managed to finally unpin the chap in the church. This bailed out mortar half track, bailed back in. That was that. With regard to movement, I managed again to blitz them over here to get some shots. The half tracks moved across here to try and get some shots at the guys in the wood. And that was all my movement. Shooting. I can't remember. I killed one of them. I can't remember
basically,
whether it was
everything around this side, and it was you got one hit from the armoured cars. I failed, and then you managed to get the firepower.
Yes. So one kill there, and then over here, I managed to bail out one of those big heavy tanks with the. I'll call them Marders, but and they managed to then do a shoot and scoot, so back to hiding. The mortars managed to range in here in the second attempt, but
one hit, but no kill.
Hit, but no damage.
Soviet turn 8. Well, the Beldu guy never got back in, even with rerolls. At least they didn't run away. These guys did run away, pinned and legged it. They're serving no purpose there other than running down the strength of the formation. So I just went on to shooting. The wee single mortar, still back here, ranged in here, and got the guy. The only guy failed to save was the guy who was in the open and never dug in again. And then the 122s have ranged in there as well. The other mortars tried to range in here and failed, and the single 152 tried to range in and failed as well. There were 6 dice to range in there, and they never got above a 2. That is the theme of my game. Oh, sorry, I forgot. These guys are now charged far too late. So, over to Peter now to see if he can kick me off.
Yeah, I think everything unpinned anyway. I didn't have anything pinned at the end there. Oh, apart from this platoon here, this Grenadier platoon failed to unpin, so they couldn't move. Movement, I failed a blitz with the Marders, so they just moved here. Half tracks moved here, trying to get closer to this tank to maybe launch an assault at some stage. What shooting? My mortars tried to, well, they ranged in on that wee team there, but failed to hit. My Marders had a shot, had 3 shots at this big tank here, but did I hit?
No.
Didn't hit.
Because of the failed blitz.
Failed blitz, so I was hitting in 5s and I didn't hit. Over here, I think shooting from this, I killed 1 team here.
This was horrific, folks, I have to tell you that.
Was it this team here?
The 88 killed 1, and that one there killed 1.
Killed 1, yes.
Oh no, sorry, no, the 88 didn't. Those 2 both needing 6s managed to get kills with 1 hit each, 1 failed save each.
Yes.
They needed 6s to hit them. And they rolled about 8 6s.
Yes. So that was, those 2 were the only damage that I did.
Turn 9, this is a bit ridiculous, folks. So, in terms of motivation, he got back in, so that was okay. These guys are just dashing and following me successfully. The commander's ran over behind there, out of line of sight. He's actually behind the building. Then in terms of shooting, the heavy mortars ranged in a 3rd attempt and didn't get anybody. The 122 artillery using the observer over there ranged in here and managed to get 2 Hotchkiss and 2 half-tracks. 1 infantry base died as a passenger save, and another Hotchkiss fell to them in direct fire. They then failed to shoot and scoot to get over to there. Here, I tried to blitz in to get him in, but no. He needs a 3. And my watchword for this game is never roll above a 2. That was the first round in which I actually managed to do something, but to be honest, Peter's saves were rubbish. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been rolling all those firepowers. So, I'm still at the objective.
Okay, this Panzer Grenadier platoon unpinned, this one didn't. So what movement I just moved these half-tracks away from the templates here and this infantry team as well. I felt I had to go in and assault Frank's tank.
One failed motivation from me would have won you the game.
I had 4 teams went in to do it, but
Fun luck and 3 from the...
So I did manage to penetrate but not destroy, or no, I managed to hit but not destroy with the Panzerfaust.
Got a potential bail.
Failed
to save.
Yeah, so I had to, eventually I broke off with my one remaining team.
And you even missed with the Panzerfaust as well.
Yes, I missed that on the way in. So that's me.
And I consolidated into the wood because I have to keep moving forward, even though it's a scary, dangerous place where you've got to make cross checks, as these guys will testify. So we turn 10. The company command's now over he's in the railway station. These guys are saying, "Oh, hang on this," and legged it over that way. These have continued to move up and follow me. These have moved up to join him. He pulled back from the wood and decided that it would be foolhardy this turn to move into it. The mortars managed to range in. Here got 1 hit, but it's saved. And see, this is my game. This is my game, folks. These guys, in revenge for the observer, first attempt ranged in straight away, hit it straight away, it died straight away. And that's something they couldn't do all game for the important nests over here. That was really only shooting a bit of bombardment. So over to Peter.
Okay, I failed to unpin my remaining team in this platoon, and then I failed also to unpin this team. So this team was hoping to get in to assault these guys, but can't do that. What I've done is I've moved up my commander to try and give them a bit of encouragement.
And he passed his last stand.
He passed his last stand. So there are no targets for the mortars, so they didn't shoot. And that was my turn. So
crazy turn 11. Now I had to go for it, folks. Here we're not just sitting about and going for a draw. So these guys here made the cross checks on the 3+. Dafty here rolled a 1, so I only went in with 2. These have moved up just to getting some shots on half tracks. He's over here for artillery, they're moving around, and then the artillery managed to range on back here and kill a base infantry. Half track here got killed by one of these guys, the base of infantry in it. I think they got killed, I can't quite remember. And then I went in with the assault, but they had a Faust in here, a Faust down here. He killed one on the way in, unfortunately. And then there was a bit of to and fro, a bit of saving, a bit of hitting, but lots of motivation. And in the end, one of his died, one of mine died. Then he consolidated in here. I was close enough to still be within 8 of the objective, but he couldn't push me away any further. So that's where it's ended in my turn. So let's see if Peter can push me away, or if it's going to be another mad assault to try and finish this off, guys.
Okay, that turn, unpinning. The team that, the platoon that only had one team left didn't unpin and didn't hang around, so he shot off. And then this platoon didn't unpin. The company commander was just too far away to help them, so they tried to dig in, failed. So they're hanging on in the wood. The mortars have just moved them away. They've not got any targets, and they were visible to Frank's.
And one's currently bailed.
One's bailed out anyway, so they're just moving there.
And you're not firing a Faust because you want to stay on the ground.
And I've moved up. My company commander is going up here just to help out. And that's me.
Right, folks, I'm going to go in for a mad assault. See if I die in the woods.
Mad assault.
Mad assault. Going to wrap these big long guns around the tree and get stuck. Wait and see.
Go through the minefield.
Soviet turn 12. So in that turn, I moved up my ISU 122s beside my company command. Everybody fired into the wood. ISU 122s needed a monstrous score and nearly got a hit, but didn't. The IS2 did get a hit and killed an infantry base. That gave me a little bit less targets to hit in the way in the assault. So I moved in the assault. The company command plus 2 tanks was all that could go in. 1 bogged on the way in, 2 got in. And then I killed 1 when we made contact. Peter motivated, hit me but I saved, hit him but I saved. Then this moved in, passed its crossing check to arrive, passed its crossing check to kill the platoon commander and company commander. He failed his cross check. Company commander went, no, that's my game. Been torture. They two managed it on 5s and 6s. And that was enough in the end just to break the formation and end the game. So that was a bloody long game, folks. We're going to go over for a recap. There we go. Right, Peter, there you go. That was a very long game. Excuse me. The wife's cooking some mad spicy shit. Hold on, shut the door. Right. So, for me, I really struggled in that game because my dice rolling was absolutely abysmal. It was chucking the dice out the pram all day long. The amount of, you would get like an 8 to 8 with 2 dice against guys in bulletproof cover, and I would lose a guy every turn from a good guys that I couldn't afford to lose. Or the machine guns would get 1 failed save on my part and then you would get a 6. And then my just ordinary saves when they were out of bulletproof cover, they were just 2 or 3 getting killed every turn. They're not big formations. You know, these storm groups are like German units. They cost a lot of points. So I couldn't build up any momentum. And I just had to wait to get rid of your nest before I could close in. And I eventually managed to do it. And I think you were talking about the...
Yes, well, I thought I was doing quite well because you were having difficulty killing my 88s
all day long.
And then I think the turning point in the game was my anti-tank guns in the wood there get caught by an assault, and then the surviving this platoon here They were a good line of sight, but Frank had they get caught by an assault of infantry coming up here. They killed this platoon, this team rather. The others wanted to break off, but none of them passed their cross check.
Two twos and two ones or something.
So all got destroyed.
That was your turn for the curse.
Yes.
Curse of ones and twos.
Yes, because I had quite good anti-tank guns, but that was losing 4 in the one turn was bad news.
If you'd kept those 6 alive, then that would have worn these guys down and prevented me from concentrating on taking the objective.
Yes, I was quite pleased with the PAK front. They held the big tanks back for a long time, but eventually they did get worn down and they all got killed. And Frank was then able to bring up his big tanks. But at that stage, I'd lost most of my anti-tank.
See, when you say bring up my big tanks, you mean bring up the only thing I had left. Everything else was dead. That is what's left out of the shock rifles. Suppose the tanks are in much better condition. They guys, they try their best in the assault, but going up against 2 Faust, that's usually deadly. But that formation did end up in the best nick out of the 2.
I did have a chance when in here I had to pass a 5 up firepower, and I could have bailed you and then won the assault, and that would have been it.
Because he was the only one who was up there at that point.
But I failed. So.
Yeah, there was a couple of failed unpinnings, critical time as well. Well, anyway, folks, we hope you enjoyed the game. It was very bloody. I was saying the word bloody and other words all the time because my dice absolutely shocking. So I'm just going to blame that. Not to do with my stupid crazy tactics. But hope you enjoyed the game. Thanks, Peter, for playing again.
It was great. It was good fun.
Thanks for bringing along your 21st Panzer Division and taking them all the way to the Eastern Front.
They never win. They never win.
No, but they look nice and they're a very interesting unit. To be honest, coming up against this big heavy stuff never gave you a chance for a knockout blow as well. But thanks for coming along and playing. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to all the subscribers. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so to help us build the channel, bring it to other people who like this game, and hit the bell button, folks, if you want to get all of our releases as they come out once or twice a week.